Eastman boots. Who's ever heard of Eastman boots? I never heard of this brand before in my entire life. That is until my buddy Mario, aka Boot Reaper on Instagram, fished these out of the water for me. So I'm reviewing these, and then I'm gonna get these on their way up to Mario in Canada. These are amazing. These are the Eastman RAIDER boot. I kind of want to do sort of a detailed, comprehensive review of this brand because I've A, never heard of them, and B, want to do it justice, so here we go. So my buddy Mario, he got these from a shop called Standard and Strange. Their motto is own fewer, better things. So this is the Eastman RAIDER boot. That's a super badass name. This is the RAIDER boot in walnut horsehide. They don't reveal the tannery. They do say that these are vegetable tanned horsehide uppers from Italy. These are custom lasts made from the original World War II boots. They're 12 military spec tonal eyelets, brown leather laces, double row 270-degree Goodyear welted, double stitched at high stress points, woven shuttle looms, custom Eastman raw cord outsoles and heels, perforated Eastman branding at the shaft. They say go down one size from your Brannick device size. They have been redesigned in England, but they were made in Japan. So there's a lot of moving parts to these boots. There's a whole big story about the RAIDER boot. So they were made in collaboration with John Lofgren for Eastman Leather Company. The legendary Raiders were elite units formed within the U.S. Marine Corps. They were basically one of the earliest formations of what we refer to today as Special Forces. The 2nd Raider Battalion utilized their own privately sourced boots. To produce the very finest version of this boot model has been on the wish list of our company for many years. Finally, through the strong collaboration between ourselves and the John Lofgren workshops of Japan, that quest has become a reality. So these are bench made on traditional lasts, fully leather lined, double row welt stitching. The Eastman Leather Company actually says they're triple stitched at high stress point. Hand shaft seam, custom made Eastman branded raw cord. That thing is crazy looking. It's got black rubber, and then in the center it has a gray grip area. Super cool. And then in the heel cap, it's also black rubber around the perimeter with a gray tread pattern in the center. Very cool. Yeah, looking at the boots, sure enough, at the toe of the lace to toe, we've got triple stitching at the high stress point there. All right, so the story behind the Raiders is the 2nd Raider Battalion was commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Evans Carlson. Carlson's Raiders, as they became to be known, were handpicked from volunteers by Carlson himself, who put themselves forward for the special unit from the ranks of the regular corps. Their remit was to engage the enemy in special guerrilla-style missions behind enemy lines. Training focused heavily on weapons practice, hand-to-hand fighting, demolitions, and physical conditioning, to include an emphasis on long hikes. Carlson commanded his unit with an unorthodox philosophy. Such was the nature of their specialized requirements, which was closely based on Chinese culture and communist egalitarianism. Every man would have the right to say what he thought. Officers would have no greater privileges than the men and would lead by consensus rather than rank. There would also be ethical indoctrination, which Carlson described as giving conviction through persuasion. That process was to ensure that each man knew what he was fighting for and why. Their battle cry was gung ho, Chinese for work together. Oh, I never knew that. The 2nd Raiders wore regular issue U.S. Marine Corps combat clothing for their uniform in the field, with the exception of their footwear and some special weapons. Carlson deemed the regular issue rough-out combat boot not to be robust enough for the kind of prolonged, grueling punishment across rough terrain they would need to sustain during their daring incursions into enemy territory. A suitable alternative was sought. A variety of civilian-produced commercial work boots were trialed, and a logger boot model made by the Theodore Bergman Shoe Manufacturing Company was chosen. It was an extremely robust boot with a very thick sole, double-stitched welt, and a lace-to-toe design to enable better and secure adjustment to the foot. This iconic boot became a status symbol of the 2nd Raiders, in a similar way as the Paraboot did for the airborne troops. So much so they have become known as RAIDER boots. Examples of the original Bergman RAIDER boots are extremely rare to find these days and are eagerly sought by collectors of World War II militaria. The Eastman RAIDER boot has been taken from archive sources of the few originals that exist to bring our customers the definitive high-quality recreation of this iconic item of footwear. So in collaboration with renowned high-quality bootmaker brand John Lofgren, these exclusive boots are bench-made by the best in the business using custom-made materials and fittings. Superior quality vegetable tanned Italian horsehide leather made to our specifications to emulate the handle, feel, and color of the original. 16mm triple stack sole with double stitched welt as per the original. From Guadalcanal to Saipan, Carlson's Raiders earned themselves a formidable reputation as one of the most tenacious fighting units of World War II, who struck fear into their enemy wherever they struck. The Raider boot is an homage to their legacy. Wear them with pride. And so Eastman Leather Company, they leave a link to the 2nd Marine Raider veteran Ben Carson. It's a YouTube video where he recalls some of his experiences of being a member of this illustrious unit. I will leave a link to that in the description below. Very, very cool bit of history there. That was posted by the National World War II Museum. And so Standard and Strange also has a description of their Raider boots. So they say the Eastman Raider boots are another more obscure piece of historical footwear that Gary has worked to revive, and we're seriously glad he did. Based on original pairs of the Theodore Bergman shoe, MFG company, worn by specialty Marine units during the Second World War, they represent an interesting interaction between the fledgling U.S. Special Forces and the growing private sector. Before the official introduction of Special Forces units within the U.S. military, elite raiders were formed amongst the U.S. Marine Corps. These specialty units were experts in guerrilla warfare, being deployed behind enemy lines for extended durations, requiring top-of-the-line equipment to conduct their missions successfully. The Raider boots are a recreation of the special private issue boots worn by the 2nd Raider Battalion and are just as handsome, durable, and functional as the originals. Seeking a service boot that was hardier than anything offered by the government, the 2nd Battalion opted to wear civilian logger boots as they held up much better than any military issue footwear of the time. They're made of Italian veg tan horsehide, a custom walnut brown tannage developed exclusively for Eastman leather. This superior quality leather will age and wear just like the original Raider boots from World War II. The vegetable tan leather starts off a little stiffer than some of the other leathers, but over time they will break in and take the shape of the wearers, softening considerably. On top of that, the brown dye at the surface of the leather will darken as it takes in oils and moisture and grow lighter in areas where the uppers scuff off to reveal the natural core beneath. Very cool. Yeah, this is a T-core leather. I could see from the raw edges there. The pigment does seem to be a paint on the outside, but as they scuff, they'll reveal the T-coring effect. The trims are no joke either. As one would expect from the combined forces of Gary Eastman and John Lofgren, these boots were produced at John Lofgren's workshops in Japan. From the custom-made Eastman raw cord outsole and heel to the shuttle loom woven labels to the mil-spec eyelets and heavy-duty multi-row stitching, the very large tongue is gusseted for extra security, firmly wrapping your ankle behind brown rawhide laces. These have fairly standard heritage boot sizing. Take one size smaller than your Brannock for best fit. And what's really cool is Eastman Leather also recreated the tanker boot in burnished rough-out Havana. The tanker boot, I'd like to touch on that briefly as well, because it's a really unique design and I think it's worth taking a look at here. So Eastman Leather Company says, to produce the very finest version of boot model has been on the wish list of our company for many years. Finally, through the collaboration between ourselves and John Lofgren in Japan, this quest has become a reality. Conceived in 1937, allegedly at the request of General Patton, the tanker boot is of a unique and elegant design. The most noticeable feature is that of the front closure, which allows them to be donned and removed with much greater ease than a normal lace-up boot by way of a short and long strap arrangement, whilst still giving good ankle support. Working off of an original pair of World War II vintage examples, we've had the lasts custom made by taking molds from them and recreated all the design and sewing details with enthusiasm. The shape and fit is simply fantastic. Snug, shapely ankle throat, correct bow to the sole, and elegant shape to the vamp. This particular model is made from Horween's famous Chromexcel horsehide in burnished rough-out finish. As with many models of World War II combat footwear, rough-out hide was utilized to be more wear-resistant, especially the hide is turned inside out so the nap is on the outside and top grain on the inside. To make the boots more water-repellent, many servicemen would impregnate the rough-out hide with layers of boot polish. This would build up over many applications and take on a unique burnished semi-rough-out appearance, and this is exactly what we have recreated with this model. Being made from horse fronts, this exudes all the qualities and character of that selection of the hide. that being areas of broken grain that will pop out the more they break in, giving a wonderful vintage character that is so desirable in original vintage leather garment. As the leather wears, the burnished rough-out nap take on a unique, rugged, time-worn character that can only come from this type of finish. The tanker boot design combines ruggedness with elegance, so they lend themselves to most occasions and applications and are so easy to put on and take off. They are, in our opinion, the ultimate utility boot, and we are pleased to have made that a reality. Yeah, they're really cool the way the straps like wrap around the shaft. Standard and Strange says, originally designed in collaboration with General Patton in 1937, this World War II boot comes back to life in a new collaboration between Gary Eastman and John Lofgren. The goal was to build the absolute finest high-end example of this boot, and they have succeeded. Tanker boots were made, not surprisingly, for tank operators. Laces and eyelets are dangerous in the tight confines of a tank, catching on things or melting. Straps made for a safer boot and are used to this day. The boots themselves are taller, with gusset rising to nearly the top of the boot, making them waterproof and resistant to the deep mud of World War II. The last that these boots are built around was created by taking a mold from an original World War II pair and then fine-tuned to produce an elegant silhouette while staying true to the original. The uppers are vegetable tanned horsehide with a full leather lining. They're Goodyear welted with a UK-made storm welt for maximum weatherproofing. The soles are a custom Japanese-made reproduction of the original World War II U.S. Army checkered patterned soles. Woven shuttle loomed labels finish off the boot. Please note that some boots may have significant differences in grain tension on the shaft, resulting in wrinkly areas. This is an intentional choice by Gary Eastman to make the boots look more period correct. As the boots age, areas with lower grain tension on the shaft will pop out and give them a really nice vintage character. The durability of these areas is not affected, it is merely an aesthetic choice. Custom-made U.S. Army World War II soles, made in Japan. You know, this is really why my channel exists, is to nerd out on vintage recreations, on the heritage behind the boots, the history. I'm becoming a historian myself the more I go through life and go through this journey with leather, with boots, with nerding out on this stuff. To say that it's fascinating is an understatement. What a wonderful path they took to recreate these boots. Yeah, so let's get a look at these Eastman Raider boots. First and foremost, you will see Eastman embossed at the throat. That's a nice touch. The leather is a T-core horsehide. Yeah, fully lined, fully gusseted all the way to the top. These are in a size 9.5E, lace to toe type of a logger boot. These are basically a monkey boot with a tall shaft. These are my Thorogood monkey boots, portage boots they call them. Also lace to toe, just obviously a very short shaft. What's really unique are the brown rawhide laces. I mean, it really just came together beautifully in an amalgamation of just vintage appearance. Yeah, brown all the way around, nice brown stained edges as well. The eyelets are even painted brown. Perfect. I mean, this is really well done, really well executed. And yeah, they look like a boot that would be at home in a Marine Raiders uniform during World War II. Love it. All right, so what else can I say about these? Not much. I mean, the detail included in the descriptions really did the review for me. I don't have much valuable insight beyond that, other than, yeah, these retail at about $1,400, which is on par with John Lofgren sizing. Yeah, $1,355 on Standard and Strange. Eastman Leather Company has many stockists throughout the world. So they've got some in the UK. They've got some in China. They have actually 13 stockists in China, 1 in France, 3 in Germany, 2 in Japan, 1 in South Korea, 2 in Switzerland, 8 in Taiwan, and 2 in the United States. The other one in the US is the History Preservation Associates, located in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. So really cool to get to look at the Eastman Leather Clothing Company, to get a look at some of their products. Yeah, obviously they do these Raider boots in different colors. Dark Seal Brown is an example of that. Standard and Strange is selling their tanker boots in russet brown horsehide, black horsehide, and Havana burnished. They only have the Raider boot in this one color. All right, so anyways, that'll do it for now. Phenomenal boots. I can't wait to see how they age over time. These are super duper nice. What a privilege to be able to get a look at these and to get them on camera high res and take pictures of them, just marvel at them. Truly a stunning recreation. I love this type of stuff. This is the stuff that gets me amped up on my channel. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm Dale of Dale's Leatherworks. I will see y'all in my next video.